Welcome back to Confessions of an SEO. This is Carolyn Holzman, and I'm going to be your host today. Okay, well, getting back to the last episode, I kind of outlined what I saw as recurring segments on the podcast. So I'm going to start with what I referred to as my Facebook mailbag. And as you can tell, if you've listened to me at all, you kind of know I'm a movie fan. I love using movie analogies. And just as a reminder, what this will be is kind of like those movies where they take one scene and you view it through one character's viewpoint and then sort of rewind right back to the same thing again, but then watch the same scene unfold through the eyes of someone else. And I discovered some of this when our son was growing up in sports. He was in baseball, Little League, and then high school baseball teams. And what was interesting is they always spent time on situational training. And I think there's a lot of value in that. They would pretend they were in a certain point of the game, and the ball count was this and that, and they would stand at home base and hit the ball to the outfield. And then everybody would go based on what they had been taught in relation to what positions they were playing. So here we go. And also just to kind of say, like, I would love to hear back from some of you if you find this helpful. And if you have any situations that you're going through that you'd like to also break apart and have somebody like me go through the different viewpoints. One is the business owner and one from the SEO standpoint. I would love it if you would, you can email confessions@AmericanWayMedia.com. And as you'll see, your privacy will be respected. I'll demonstrate as we go on. All right, so here is the Facebook. I'm going to read the Facebook post first and then go back first as the owner and then go back as the SEO. All right, here we go. My client wants Google rankings to increase. I got him to number 2 organically, and I got him to rank number 1 in map listings. He now says he won't be happy until he generates 5,000 visitors a month. And right now, he's generating roughly 1,500 visitors a month. And I know this will require to continue writing great content, social sharing, guest posts, backlink building, and more. I was thinking of targeting other locations outside of city. See, there you go. That's me protecting privacy. And creating location pages, but it's a certain local business with one physical location, so location pages wouldn't work. Any suggestions for generating more organic traffic? Seems like a big project. Furthermore, he's been using a specialized website management company that is not WordPress based, so it's been a bit challenging as I've had to go to them for changes to the site. He's agreed that he'll use another website development company that uses WordPress and provide me access to it, which is great. It's great he heard what I said, but I'm concerned about the switch since the site is ranking number 1 and 2 now. Do you recommend redirects for the new site or copying and pasting title content from the old to the new? Should I charge him more money for trying to generate 1,500 to 5,000 monthly organic traffic? Right now I'm charging just over $1,000 per month. I originally agreed to an hourly wage of $25 an hour since I'm new, but I'm getting results and generating 50. Did I say 50,000? I meant 5,000 visits a month is much more work and will most likely involve other marketing efforts. Any advice is much appreciated. Wow. Okay. So let's look at it from the business owner's viewpoint. Not going to be happy until there are 5,000 visitors a month. So where do I begin? All right, first off, as a business owner myself, and you may remember from earlier episodes, I had a brick and mortar for over 25 years, and I get the goal-making mindset, have a target that's higher than what is currently happening. And I've been guilty of using this as a motivational tactic. You know, it's I get it. You know, most independent business owners don't really see what they don't see. None of us do, right? It's not just business owners. We don't know what we don't know. So, dear business owner, let me help you expand your way and your options to measure to make more revenue. So, if you are a business owner and you like what you see, that you've asked someone to make a positive change on something, instead of setting a new numerical goal as a target of satisfaction, find out what's happening when the current traffic level is doing, and at the same time, keep your SEO person engaged. If they've set out to make things better and they did, let them know you appreciate it. You can do that without fear that they will sit on their laurels. I know a lot of people say, don't praise anybody. If you tell them they're doing good, they'll stop working. Well, if it's the right person working for you, that isn't going to happen, because they're going to feed themselves off of the connection that you made between what they did and what the results are, and that you're pleased, and now you're energized to see how fast can this puppy go. So instead of, let's say, demanding that things increase, why not enlist their experience and brainstorm together? So if 1,500 visitors a month when you want more is not a failure of the digital marketing team or department, but you don't know enough to know what a failure is or isn't. So for example, and I'll explain. For example, the 1,500 visitors that come to your site, ask your team if there's a way to find out what those visitors are doing when you're on your site. How many pages are they viewing? Are we doing anything that helps us find them again? How many keywords are we ranking for that bring in that traffic? Are there any search phrases we're missing out that our competitors are doing better? Can we estimate traffic levels for our competitors? Is there some way we could determine what is the current market share? Can we estimate if we're to fill in any keyword gaps, how would we double that organic traffic? Is that 5,000 number, is that even realistic based on the estimated search volume? Should we be looking at advertising on Google or Bing or Facebook to expand traffic by paying for it? Is our content compelling? Do people do what we want them to do so we can help them? What conversion optimization tips might be necessary to the existing content? All right, so now I'm going to put on my SEO hat. Dear SEO strategist, stop charging $25 an hour for your work. You are working on strategy. You're working to expand the reach of a business without being an employee, which means they're not paying for your Social Security or your retirement or anything else. This is a specialized and essential part of any business, digital marketing, and you are creating something of real value. So don't let the fear of a business owner who doesn't understand the full value of your knowledge minimize your understanding of the value that you are providing. I've said this before. Your value does not decrease based on a business owner's inability to see the worth. So just because somebody says, I won't be happy until we 3x the amount you're bringing in now, it doesn't mean that you have to work harder without being compensated. And if that business owner doesn't ask you the questions that I mentioned earlier, this opportunity now is how you continue your work to help them connect the dots. Do you understand that? That there's value in helping them connect the dots, and it's paid time. You do not do this at no pay. So first off, provide to the business owner the data. What specific search phrases are bringing in the traffic that you've been able to do since you got the business to number 2 in the organic and in the local maps? Now you will need to get into Google Search Console to pull which phrases resulted in clicks. You also want to go into the GMB listing, and you want to pull the insights and download that data of the calls and the clicks. Now you won't find a direct through line from the search term to call or the search term to click if the visitor started in the maps, but it will give you some idea. And do a before and after. If the analytics had been set up prior, you know when you started. So for example, and right now it's February, so for instance, I'd say pull an average January from a previous year, and then assuming that you're listening now, the most recent January, set up the filter to show only the organic traffic. And I guarantee you will talk yourself till you're blue in the face, and it will not persuade, but data has the chance. And that's what you're doing, is you're pulling the data. So once you know where this traffic is coming from, use your tools to determine where the competitors are getting their traffic. By the way, like I said before, this is all billable time. You're providing competitive intelligence, and that's how you should frame it. And this is not free. This information will assist that business owner in making business decisions and determining strategy. So put together a keyword gap report. Show them the road map to more. So if it's 4 times more the content and optimization, then let them know, if they want it all, what the costs are to produce the additional content is going to be 4 times what they're currently paying. Ask them if they would like to supplement the organic traffic with paid traffic option. Guide them. Charge more to manage the PPC if you can. Ask them if they want to start to retarget these visitors, because, surprise, not everybody who comes to a website purchases something. I'm certain you look at the data on your site, you'll see that. So 5,000 visitors that don't buy is far less valuable than 500 visitors that do. It's math. And don't mistake that when they tell you they're not going to be happy, that it's your job to ramp up production so that they can be happy. I assure you, if you do, they will never be happy. Because if you do more with the same resources, 2 things will happen. They will trust you less and assume that you're holding back and you'll burn out, which that doesn't nobody any good. It doesn't help them. It doesn't help you. So this is an opportunity to provide more education to this business owner. It's also an opportunity because of increasing the value that you are bringing to this business. Don't make the mistake of assuming your effectiveness is determined by the longevity of this business relationship, because everything you did for them is something you can do for somebody else. And one thing too, I'm making these episodes so that if you feel you need support as an SEO, you could suggest that your clients listen to this podcast. I'm just going to let that sink in. See, because sometimes they will believe something that somebody else tells them and be able to save face and be able to reframe their relationship with you. In the old days, there was a columnist in a newspaper, and I'm going to date myself, but it was called Dear Abby. And people would write in social situations that they had trouble negotiating. And they would literally write, Dear Abby, what do I do about my sister-in-law? And they would explain the problem. And so what would happen is that she would respond. And oftentimes, her readers would share those responses with their friends or family that were involved in that situation. And the goal, obviously, was for the relationships to smooth out and to be a source of nurturing and support. And very often, if it was a situation where it was not a good situation, to get out of it. So I just want you to remember, I'm not doing this as a client or agency growth activity. They can't hire me. But I'd love to hear back from some of you. So let me know if you find it useful, and if you have any situations you'd like to have broken apart and through these same viewpoints, feel free to submit them to confessions@AmericanWayMedia.com. And as you can see, your privacy will be respected. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. This is, again, the example of the Facebook mailbag, where I'll find things that are commonly talked about or might be discussed in various forms, but basically are the same topic. So I hope you enjoyed it. This is Carolyn Holzman from Confessions of an SEO, and I'll see you in the SERPs.